Alright, it's been a second. I apologize for taking so long to give you an update. But you have to understand, it's been a wild ride. It's been a wild ride. For some. But for me, it's been very simple. I'm explaining to you why. When you have a plan and you plan your trade, more times than none, you will get the results that you're looking for as long as you stick to the plan. So my plan was to sell a slither of my Doge at 50 and then sell a slither of my Doge at 70 while keeping majority of my Doge invested, use my two slithers to enjoy myself, and then eventually wait for the inevitable pullback and buy as much as I can on the dip. That was the plan. I sold enough Doge to invest in some gold and start a new business, and then I left the rest in there so that when it hits $1, I can buy a house with Doge. It would have been nice for it to hit the dollar on Saturday Night Live. However, it would have been very surprising. I didn't expect it to hit $1, but it would have been nice. I expected it to tank as soon as the show went off, so I sold my slithers right before the show went on. But what I didn't like was it was supposed to hit the dollar, because when millions and millions of people, press, industries, investors, hedge funds, financial bros, everyone, international, everyone was tuned in, hanging on to every word that came out of Elon's mouth. And if we were going to use a soundbite to highlight, why not use the soundbite, "It's as real as $1 to the moon"? Why didn't you highlight that? But instead, the press highlighted, "It's a hustle." He didn't say it was a hustle. I believe the guy said it's like a hustle, and he said, sure, it's as real as $1, blah, 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 to the moon. Why didn't they soundbite that? It could have looked like this.
Right? It's real.
Say sorta.
Yeah,
Sorta.
okay.
Yeah.
So what is Dogecoin?
About as real as that dollar.
Why didn't this clip play on the news as much as that Q shit, that Trump shit? Remember when he's holding his Fiji bottle like this, so it means, or when they tried to say I think Trump said, "You bet it," and they heard Q is gonna take over the world. Why didn't they do that? Why was that? Why didn't they keep the same energy? But enough about that. Let's not focus on Doge too much. Let's talk about these companies that's on sale. Let's start with SSPK. All right, so in the last month it's down 42%, but if we look at the last month, it's been showing support at around 15. So it's on sale. It's on the floor right now. I could go into a deeper chart analysis, but I want to dig into the company a little bit more. I don't want to bore you with the charts today. I think it was earlier in the year or the end of 2020, SSPK acquired Weedmaps. And for those who don't know, Weedmaps is a platform for retailers and consumers of that marijuana. For retailers, they provide a POS and analytics, competition opportunities, and they have a subscription-based model which generates income for Weedmaps. And on the consumer side, they have over 10 million users on average. 85% of their retained consumers are daily users. Where there's recreational and or medical marijuana, there is Weedmaps. And in 2018, California was 85% of Weedmaps consumer base. By 2020, it went from 80% only to 50%. And I think that's because of the legalization in all the states and the stigma of weed smoke slowly dwindling away into the past. It's only a matter of time before the federal veil is lifted, but until then, we have nothing to worry about where it comes to legal limitations with Weedmaps, because for 12 years, they have been the front runner of regulatory upkeep, which means as the laws have been changing, they have been the front runner of making sure that they're in compliance and or dancing nicely within the loopholes. Weedmaps has a stronger and more reoccurring customer base than their competitors such as Shopify or Etsy. The only difference is Weedmaps never touches the flower. There's no Weedmaps factory. Weedmaps doesn't have the cars that pull up themselves. Weedmaps just allows the platform for delivery services, dispensaries, medical clinics to be found and or reach their customers a lot easier. And certain states have their own. For example, in DC, there's Where's Weed or 420dc.com, I think it is. But those are only in DC. Weedmaps is nationwide. So that's why I like SSPK. Another company I think is on sale is UAVS. UAVS has somewhat of a stan following, somewhat like Dogecoin, you know, where people are buying as many as they can and holding because they're about $5 a share. There are some people I know personally that have been holding large UAVS positions for a very long time. Now, the reason I think they're on sale right now is because they just acquired Measures for 45 million cash. For those who don't know, UAVS is a drone company, and the reason it has any type of online clout or cult following is because of its rumored affiliation with Amazon. So basically the whole concept is, in the future, UAVS is going to be providing the drones to be delivering our packages to our doorstep. The government has been known to be funding UAVS also, and in the drone space they are highly favored. Now, the Amazon affiliation has only ever always been rumored. Neither Amazon or UAVS has either confirmed or denied any type of affiliation. However, UAVS just did some gangster shit that I kind of like. They acquired Measures for 45 million cash. Now, I'm not an expert, but in short, it's an app for drones already used by the government for things like construction and agriculture, which lines up side by side with the interests of UAVS anyway. Now, something that makes this very interesting is UAVS only had 28 million cash at the time of the deal. So let's assume that the deal involved like 15 million cash and the rest in shares. So there's just been a huge shift in a large number of shares, millions of dollars worth of shares, and the price is still chilling at around $5. I don't know if it's being shorted. I don't like those type of conspiracies. I'm just going to assume that it's just slept on right now. There's no volume, it's just being slept on. Now, like I was saying, it was just a rumor about the Amazon affiliation, but Measures already has established partnerships with Amazon Web Services. So maybe now that's kind of like the confirmation of the affiliation, or maybe that was the affiliation that UAVS has been looking for since the rumor caught some steam. I think it was sometime in 2020. That brings me to my third company on sale, Mogo. Now, if you haven't already, I did a video on Mogo. I'm not going to go into it again in too much detail, but basically Mogo is about to find a nice little space within the fintech sector, and it's only $7 a share, so collect up. Now, I hope you found this information useful. I'm just here to entertain and give you a different perspective. Let me just rap for a sec. What we saw with Doge was to the book, but let's not remember when Bitcoin went from 1,400 to 14,000 to 20,000 down to 8,000. Chilled at around 8 to 9 to 10 to 15, 20, 40, 50,000. Huge jumps, but these are jumps with volume. If you look at it on a chart, it does what every and any other company does. It goes up, it finds resistance, it comes down, it finds support. It gathers up volume and it finds a new resistance, and then comes down to the old resistance as a new support. It's like, if you didn't take profit with the new Doge run, I'm so sorry to hear that. And if you put your life savings in, hopefully you live long enough to see Doge hit $5. But until then, trade smart, trade patient, trade disciplined, and add more tools to your toolbox. I'm Scandal, and I'll see you next week.